video, I'm going to be talking about why I am Team Edward. Now, with all of the recent hoopla about, like, the movie and then soundtracks and blah, 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 I have been into Twilight way before any of this stuff happened. And, like, I'm talking, like, way back in the day. And most of you have probably seen my face. Yeah, somebody, like, totally hacked my other account, so I was like, whatever, I'm getting a new one. That one's kind of getting on my nerves anyway. But, and if any of you saw any of my other videos, you know that I talked about what I liked, what I didn't like, blah, blah, blah. And I never got around, like, to explaining why I was Team Edward and why I wasn't Team Jacob and why I wasn't Switzerland. Pretty much, I fell in love with Edward in the first book, you know, because who couldn't, you know? I mean, like, that's what started the whole damn thing. Like, you loved the relationship between Edward and Bella, and it was, like, amazing, and blah, blah, blah. Well, I pretty much, when I first read Twilight, way back in the day, like, when it came out, I fell in love with Edward because he was complicated, okay? Like, the way you read it, like, the way Bella describes, okay, is that Edward is just a dick, you know, basically. I mean, she walks in and she's like, who's that, you know, and then he's just being rude, and, but I mean, like, the more you read the book, the more you find out, and that's what I loved about it, because Edward is just this absolute, like, the way I see it is Edward is completely fucking bored with his life, as of late, you know, and he's just, goddamn, you know, I've been around for 108 years, and I've been doing the same thing for all this time, and it's kinda gay, you know, and I mean, he's just so aggravated, really, by it. And then, what happens? Bella comes, and Edward becomes, like, so topsy-turvy, like, he's like, whoa, I'm bored, but damn, you know? And then, yeah, like, he just gets so bamboozled, really. And then, when he saves her, and then he's a dick in the hospital, you know, and he's just like, all of this stuff, and then, you know, just in that, you know, and then he's like, look, we can't do this, I can't do this. But, fuck all that. I'm gonna just talk about why I like Edward. Okay. For those of you who know me, you know I have to do this. So, anyway. Now, I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack for this, but whatever. I do what I want. I've read all of the Twilight Saga more than 5 times. And, basically, when we found out that Midnight Sun had been leaked, and, everybody was like, oh, damn, and then a lot of people were like, well, I'm not going to read the 12 chapters that Stephanie Meyer posted on her website. I did, okay? And those, even though it was a partial draft, those 12 chapters were amazing, and you got to understand Edward from Edward's point of view, which was amazing, because Bella's just obsessed, you know, so it's not really getting to know Edward as a character. Now, as I already said, when I read Twilight, I already made up in my mind that I liked Edward, okay? Because, I mean, even in Bella's point of view, he seemed complicated. But if you've read the 12 chapters, or even the first chapter that's been on her website for, like, forever, if you've read that, you know that Edward, so much goes on in his head, you know? Like, I mean, he has to hear people, he has, I mean, just mundane human thoughts, you know? Like, he has to hear Margaret over there bitching about how her tampon is very uncomfortable, you know? And then he lives in a house where no one sleeps, so their mind is constantly going, so he constantly has to hear shit day in and day out. And if I were Edward, that would be really fucking aggravating. Like, I would be pissed off if I could hear people's thoughts all day, every day. You know, like, that would be pretty shitty. So, Edward's kind of a pissed off character, you know? He's like, I'm aggravated. And he's already said he's got a problem with his anger. We've seen that. But, what also is, like, he's kind of, like, really depressed, almost, like, with, you know, like, how do I explain that? Like, I need an example. Forgive me. Okay. Depression. I'm pretty sure if we keep reading, when we get Midnight Sun, I'm pretty sure this will come up, because from what I already know about Edward, this just seems like him. Like, let's say when Bella starts talking about becoming a vampire, let's think about how that would affect Edward, because Edward wants her to be a vampire, but for his own reasons, you know, like, he wants this bitch around forever. But also, he wants Bella to have a human life, you know, be normal, what should happen, you know? Like, I could probably picture his turmoil in that. Like, he wants it so bad, but he knows he can't have it. Or he knows he shouldn't want it, you know? So, seeing that, because, you know, Edward is the kind that just, to me, he overanalyzes. Like, he looks at every part and he, you know, seriously thinks shit through, and he just doesn't act on impulse, you know? And, that is why I like Edward, you know? He's just this very complicated person, and he's just, you know, it's like, and, you know, I mean, he has his non-complicated parts, where, and I mean, everybody likes Edward because, I could be wrong, but everybody likes Edward because basically Edward is like the epitome of amazing. Like, he is what every boyfriend should be. He's understanding, and he gives compliments, and he treats Bella like a lady, you know? And I think that's why everybody likes Edward, like, because he's perfect in that aspect. He's what every man should be, but no man is, you know? And that, it's like in a way, the darkness that goes on with Edward, and then how he projects it, you know? Like, if he were to die, he thinks he wouldn't go anywhere, you know? He would just be floating. You know, like, he doesn't really think that there's anything after that. And, I mean, it's kind of romanticizing, you know? Like, it's very romantic how dark he is. It's a dark romance. Edward is dark romance, basically. And I think that makes Edward attractive, you know? Like, he's so fucked up that he's amazing, you know? Why don't you tell me why you like Edward?